Of the O'Neill Dion government has been free education, which was chartered in the Alotau Accord in 2012. For the past 4 years, the government has been spending close to 700 million kina annually to fund this policy. Despite the large figure, there has been continuous complaints over the years relating to the effectiveness of the policy. The government has continuously maintained that all schools throughout the country should not charge any form of fees as the government has catered for it. What many educationists argue is that TFF funds do not reach each school on time, causing inconvenience to the operations of many schools. The issue was again raised in the last session of the 9th Parliament by Member for South Bougainville Timothy Masiu, relating to TFF funds for 2017.
This issue belong TFF lo Bougainville make him na ABG BEC decide long put him law long only charge him all parents now long on school fees inside lo Bougainville. So in you clear him long Parliament na long people belong South Bougainville na to lo Bougainville long suppose you got some la talk one time ABG Minister belong education long discussing this issue na too long one time by all TFF belong all schools belong inside lo South Bougainville and reach him all schools. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
As always, Education Minister Nick Kuman defended the policy, saying it has been working very well for the past 4 years, going into the 5th year now. He said Bougainville is no exception and should honor the government's policy by ensuring schools in the province do not charge any form of fees.
For this year, we have paid up to 105 million to date. That covers almost 3/4 of the TFF owing to the schools for the first term of this year. And I believe all the schools in South Bougainville, and including all the schools in the other 3 electorates in Bougainville and the rest of the country, have been paid direct to their accounts. The balance of which is about 37 million remaining outstanding for this term of Parliament. On the question of school fees, Bougainville is no exception to the rest of the country in terms of the government policy on TFF. And the policy on in relation to fees or any other form of fees in the country, and I continuously stress on the floor of this Parliament, that we have to be consistent in what we do in this country. Our TFF policy has been working really well in the last 4 years, going to the 5th year this year. And I expect every provincial government, including the autonomous region of Bougainville, to be consistent in the policy of the government. And in so doing, there should not be any project fees or any other forms of fees to be charged for children in this country.
His response brought a supplementary from Northern Governor Gary Jufa, who bluntly pointed out that according to statistics on the ground, the TFF policy was not working well. Mr. Jufa said TFF was not consistent and many a time coming in very late to schools, which was why schools had to charge project or other related fees in order for schools to operate. He said students are leaving schools due to this fact, with boarding students the worst affected.
I'd just like to point out to the Education Minister that your TFF policy is not working very well in this country. We are having children that are leaving the high schools because the TFF is not reaching them on time. They are unable to fund the food and the basic supplies that they are needed to maintain these boarding students, for instance. And in many instances throughout the entire country, TFF is simply not reaching the schools on time. So let us not mislead Parliament by stating that it is working very well. Let's be realistic and say that it's a project in progress. Perhaps we could say that, but not say that it is working very well.
This brought up an argument between the governor and the minister. Minister Kuman said all fees were paid, but the lateness was due to the current economic crisis being faced by the country.
You took it out of context. Unless you and your opposition group on the other side have a very good program on education. And I can challenge you on the floor of Parliament that you have not got one single policy.
So a program you in a walk here, please, Minister. Not in Gaman.
No, you're talking
I'm
me.
in a walk here.
You tell me exactly what else would you do when you're in the government. What is the alternative? What is the alternative education policy?
Governor.
You don't have any. You have absolutely nothing. You cannot offer this country anything. No, this is the best policy we have so far.
Let's have some
this
order.
is the best policy we have, Mr. Speaker. The TFF has been working all to last year. Last year we retired every single budget that was appropriated been paid to all the schools in this country, including Oro province. But you didn't buy me go some money to one plan to come buy school people or picking you. You also take responsibility, Governor. What? You are elected onto the floor of Parliament to do those business too. Take it up and go and pay the rations for the schools. Why can't you do that? Not to go and hang on Facebook and talk about other people. Shame on you. That's what you do. Well, you want to win people's sympathy on the Facebook. You can't do it.
Despite the parliamentary confrontations, Minister Kuman assured the House that the government would ensure TFF funds for this year are paid to schools before the end of the first term.
For this term, this first quarter, we paid 105 million so far. I've got another 37 million to pay, and I want to make sure that it is paid before the school closes its door on the first term. And this is the government's commitment that for next term, we will pay upfront.
With the elections around the corner, it is not clear if all schools will receive TFF components for this year on time. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has made an assurance that service delivery will not stop throughout the election period.